Hello and welcome to the Discover History YouTube channel. Today we're going to play a little game because we've been intense all week, shall we say, really. Mainly we're bombarding you with information like Ian's fantastic video about the Guards' defence of Hougoumont at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. So today we're having a bit of a relaxing time, a relaxing week, shall we say. So we thought we'd play a little game, and we thought today we will play a mystery object, a Monday mystery as such, really. So I've actually got an item here that I chose purely because Helen sent me into our store and said, let's have something food related. And the problem is, in typical fashion, I got sidetracked whilst I was in there, found something else, and thought, if Helen's forceps for cutting the tonsils, for example, was a difficult one, the object I've got today will be even more difficult. So, let's see how good you are. What we want you to do is, when I've finished describing it, make sure you comment on here. Make sure you subscribe as well. Or alternatively, when we share it on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, you can also comment on there as well. Let's see how many comments we get. But I can guarantee this is probably harder than what Helen chose last time. So we'll see how you get on with this one. You may know it, you may impress me, but this is a difficult one. So this object is in two parts, and I'll describe both of them in turn. There they are, just there in all their glory, and we'll talk about each one in turn. They're made of a gold looking metal, which I can tell you now is definitely not gold. It's a brass. These were sometimes made of bronze, brass. They were even made out of iron years ago. So any metal, really, any good metal that can be made into those shapes, basically. So we're not talking about a Stone Age item, obviously. We'll talk about each one in turn. So if we take a look at this one, what do you think this small object is? Now, straight away, you could say, if you want to be an archaeologist, it must be ritual. That's a joke, by the way. Or alternatively, you could say maybe it's a tool set for a little doll. Maybe this is a Victorian tool chest that you put little hammers and that in the top. It looks like an old tool chest, to be fair. So it's made out of metal, and the body of it is a little box with points at the top. And then we've also got a bar fixed running across from the one pointy bit to the other pointy bit. And on the one edge is a tiny little slit. So what is that little object there? That's the first part of this mystery object on what is a rather dull Monday morning. We've also got this little thing. Now this looks purely decorative, and it goes with the little box I've just showed you. Now we have got a small piece of cord with even a little decorative bead at the bottom, like that. So it's to guarantee that this object is not going to get thrown away. It's obviously something. And then at the top there is some more brass work. And this one opens like a knife, like so. There's a rounded edge at the one end, and at the other end you've got something that I would say resembles the teeth of a snake, like an adder that comes down there. And like I showed you, the whole thing folds up so it can be carried like that. So the question we want you to comment on today is, what is that mystery object? Have a little guess. It doesn't matter if you're wrong, but just make sure you comment with what you think that object is. Both of the objects are connected. You definitely need to use the two together. If you want to, maybe even tell us what period of history is it from. Is it, for example, Roman? It's possibly Roman. It's made of materials that the Romans used. It's also quite a complicated device, which makes you think it's probably from an ancient culture that had amazing technology, like the Romans. Or is it Stone Age? Well, the answer to that one I can give you straight away. Well, it's metal. And we know Stone Age people never used metal. When metals first started to be used, it didn't really come in until a little bit after. And the first metals was really copper, and then they mixed it with tin, and then you created bronze, for example. But it's definitely not Stone Age because it's not made out of stone. Or is it Victorian? Like I said, is it a Victorian child's tool set that you would have with a doll that was maybe a sewage engineer or something like that a child could play with? So have a little think what that object is. The two go together, and comment. But please make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Also make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and therefore you will always get the updates. And remember, if you go on our YouTube channel, don't just click on videos, click on the playlist, and we've categorized them all for you. So if you want to look at cooking and see Helen doing some cookery demonstrations, click on there. If you want to see some military history, click on there. And likewise with all the other topics that we have on there. We do have a mystery object column, a set of videos in our playlist for mystery objects. And we like to do this from time to time. It's actually a skill that archaeologists have to look at, and what we always say is try to look at an object and think, is it similar to something we have today? And that's a good starting point when you're looking at finds and trying to identify them, and then from there you can expand on that. So have a little think, let us know, and we'll give you the answer in tomorrow's video. On that note, stay safe, try and stay dry, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.